Hey Lakers fans, let's dive into the latest developments with the team because there is a lot to unpack as we watch this season unfold. The Los Angeles Lakers are in a position where they have a core group of players who are undeniably crucial to the identity of this roster. And then there are others whose place on this team has become increasingly uncertain. Early in the season, it is always possible for surprises to occur, and someone who initially seemed expendable might suddenly emerge as indispensable. Yet, from what we've seen through the first few games, injuries, performance trends, and clear team needs are shaping a narrative that is difficult to ignore. Some players, no matter their flashes of brilliance, simply do not fit the long-term vision or immediate strategic priorities of the Lakers, and it is becoming evident that moving them could be the smartest path forward. Take Rui Hachimura, for instance. There is so much to like about him as a player. He has adapted remarkably over the last few seasons, evolving into a versatile scorer who can operate both on and off the ball. He stretches defenses with his three-point shooting, can slash to the basket when the opportunity presents itself, and on certain nights, he elevates his game to the level of being a true difference maker. Statistically, he has demonstrated that he can create points off cutting and slashing, which is increasingly rare in players of his skill set. On the surface, he seems like a player the Lakers would want to retain at all costs. However, the realities of this roster create a very different picture. The team's most pressing deficiencies are perimeter defense, athleticism, and consistent two-way contributions. Despite Hachimura's offensive capabilities, he does not address these critical gaps in a meaningful way. His contract and potential trade value place him in a position where, if the right offer arises, the Lakers could turn him into an asset that addresses multiple weaknesses at once. Keeping him is appealing, but only if it aligns with the broader needs of the team. If a trade can provide the Lakers with more defensive versatility, increased athleticism, or additional flexibility, then moving Hachimura might be a decision that accelerates the team's championship window rather than diminishes it. Gabe Vincent is another player who embodies this tension between potential and fit. When healthy, he has the ability to be impactful, but health has been a recurring obstacle, and his on-court contributions can fluctuate dramatically from game to game. The Lakers need players who provide reliable two-way output, consistent perimeter defense, and the ability to cover multiple roles. Vincent is capable of all of these things in theory, but inconsistency has prevented him from cementing himself as a dependable option. This inconsistency, combined with the team's high need for athleticism and defensive presence, means that the Lakers might benefit from exploring trade opportunities, particularly for players who offer more immediate and reliable impact in those areas. It is not about diminishing Vincent's abilities, but rather about recognizing where the team's strategic priorities lie and making adjustments that serve the larger vision. Then there is Maxi Kleber, whose case is perhaps the simplest to summarize: availability. When Kleber plays, he provides floor spacing, can hit shots, and operates effectively within his role, but injuries have prevented him from becoming a consistent contributor. The Lakers cannot afford to rely on players whose presence is uncertain, especially when the roster is trying to establish rhythm and continuity on both ends of the court. Even if Kleber were to stay healthy for an extended stretch, the calculus is still complicated by the Lakers' broader roster construction needs. In a league where athleticism, two-way versatility, and reliable defense are at a premium, consistency is arguably more valuable than the flashes of productivity a player like Kleber provides. Therefore, exploring trade options or alternative uses for his contract might make sense in the larger context of improving the team's overall functionality and balance. Dalton Knecht is perhaps the most challenging case, as he represents a player who has yet to find a foothold despite repeated opportunities. From summer league to the early season, Knecht has struggled to deliver consistent production, leaving the Lakers in a position where patience alone cannot solve the problem. His shooting ability is tantalizing at times, but sporadic performances are not enough to stabilize the rotation or meet the team's defensive and athletic demands. While there are teams that might see potential in a change of scenery or believe they can restore his confidence, the Lakers cannot afford to wait indefinitely for a transformation that may never come. For Knecht, A trade could be mutually beneficial, providing him with a chance to thrive elsewhere, while giving the Lakers flexibility to adjust their roster in ways that better meet immediate needs. The broader context for all of these decisions involves understanding the trade market and how value is created beyond the players' names on the jerseys. Trades are rarely just about swapping talent. They involve salary considerations, contract expirations, and long-term team planning. Some players are attractive not necessarily because of their performance alone, but because their contracts allow teams to restructure and create financial flexibility. The Lakers, in particular, have several expiring contracts and other limited assets that make them uniquely positioned to engage in trades where the right package could improve the team significantly. Teams often make deals to offload salary, retool rosters, or simply acquire players who they believe can flourish in a different system. Therefore, when evaluating who to move and when, the Lakers are considering a wide array of strategic factors that extend well beyond individual game performance. Looking at the season so far, the Lakers' struggles are predictable in the sense that they reflect weaknesses identified during the preseason: lack of perimeter defense, limited athleticism, and a shortage of two-way contributors. These deficiencies have manifested in the early games, and while individual players can have breakout nights, systemic challenges are harder to overcome without roster adjustments. Rui Hachimura is unlikely to suddenly become an elite defender, and Dalton Connect's inconsistencies suggest that relying on him to stabilize the backcourt is risky. Gabe Vincent's injuries and volatility on both ends of the court further highlight the teams need to consider moving pieces that do not reliably contribute to areas of high priority. Maximizing the Lakers' potential championship window requires strategic moves that enhance athleticism, perimeter defense, and two-way capabilities, rather than simply retaining players based on past performance or potential. In essence, the Lakers are navigating a delicate balance between keeping contributors who can make a difference on any given night and addressing the structural gaps that have limited their performance. Trades, when executed thoughtfully, provide a path to strengthen the roster in meaningful ways, creating opportunities for younger players or expiring contracts to be leveraged in a manner that aligns with the team's immediate and long-term objectives. Even though some fans may question the desire to move familiar faces, the reality is that professional basketball requires constant evaluation and adjustment to maintain competitiveness. The Lakers have limited tradable assets, making each decision about who stays and who goes increasingly critical. Contracts, health, performance, and fit all intersect in this analysis, and the ultimate goal is to assemble a team capable of contending at the highest level, while remaining adaptable to the fluid dynamics of the NBA trade landscape. While the team has a core that remains essential, the reality of the NBA is that no player is untouchable outside of a few elite talents, and flexibility is often what separates contenders from those who fall short. Austin Reeves, for example, has been playing at a high level and remains an indispensable piece. His contributions on both ends of the floor make him unlikely to be moved, at least for the foreseeable future, but even here, it is important to recognize that value and fit dictate decisions. A trade, if considered, would need to provide a clear return that strengthens the roster in key areas, rather than simply moving a player for the sake of change. The Lakers' trade strategy, therefore, is shaped by a combination of roster needs, contract situations, and potential returns. Expiring contracts have become one of the most valuable assets the team possesses because they allow for flexibility in future seasons. Teams around the league, particularly those underperforming or looking to shed salary, are increasingly desperate to restructure their payrolls. This desperation can create opportunities for the Lakers to acquire young talent, additional athleticism, or complementary pieces that fit the team's immediate requirements. For instance, players like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Connect represent opportunities not just because of what they bring on the court, but because of how their contract can facilitate larger, more impactful transactions. From a performance standpoint, the Lakers' early season games have highlighted both the strengths and weaknesses of the current roster. Wins against strong opponents demonstrate the team's potential, showing that when key players are healthy and executing, the Lakers can compete at the highest level. Yet, the recurring challenges, deficiencies in perimeter defense, limited athleticism, and inconsistency from role players underscore why roster adjustments are critical. Even players with the ability to deliver on a great night cannot be relied upon to solve systemic problems on their own. The need for reliable, two-way contributors is urgent, and it is this need that drives the evaluation of which pieces to keep and which to move. Trades in this context are more than just player swaps. They are instruments to realign the roster with the team's strategic vision. The Lakers are assessing which players provide the best long-term fit, while also maximizing immediate impact. This includes considering players who may not have lived up to expectations, but possess untapped potential in a new system. A team change can rejuvenate careers, restore confidence, and unlock skill sets that have yet to be fully realized. At the same time, acquiring players who can consistently defend, create spacing, and contribute athletically addresses the Lakers' pressing needs and increases the team's chance to contend. The ability to act decisively in trade scenarios may very well define whether the Lakers remain in championship contention this season. Looking at specific trade scenarios, the Lakers have multiple paths to create value. By moving players whose contributions are inconsistent or whose skill sets do not match the team's highest priorities, the front office can open up cap space, acquire expiring contracts, or bring in young talent with upside. These moves are not without risk, of course. Trading a player like Hachimura requires careful calculation, ensuring that the return addresses both immediate and long-term goals. Similarly, while Vincent, Kleber, or Connect might seem expendable, packaging them wisely can generate assets or financial flexibility that the team can leverage in multiple ways. Every trade must balance the need to improve now with the understanding that the NBA is a league of constant adaptation, where injuries, player development, and unexpected opportunities can dramatically shift the landscape. The Lakers' situation is also influenced by the broader league context. Many teams are under pressure to restructure their rosters, often due to overextended contracts or disappointing starts to the season. This creates a dynamic trade market in which expiring contracts and role players with specific skill sets gain value beyond their box score contributions. Teams looking to shed salary or acquire flexibility may view Lakers players as valuable components in larger deals. This interplay between performance, contract structures, and league dynamics emphasizes the strategic importance of every roster decision. The Lakers, with a combination of expiring deals and a desire to improve in key areas, are well-positioned to navigate this environment and emerge stronger, provided they execute thoughtfully. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, it's official, or at least it's making the NBA world buzz like never before. The Los Angeles Lakers have reportedly confirmed the acquisition of Lauri Markkanen, and the basketball universe is already shaking. While official press releases tend to be dry, this one has sent shockwaves across social media, with fans and analysts scrambling to decode what this means for the purple and gold. Markkanen, known for his sharp shooting and versatile presence on the court, seems like a perfect fit for a Lakers team eager to reinvent itself. Rumors have been swirling for weeks about LA's interest in the Finnish star, but now it appears all speculation was grounded in fact. Sources close to the organization hinted that the deal had been in motion for some time, with negotiations intensifying behind closed doors. The excitement is palpable. Could this be the move that repositions the Lakers as true championship contenders once again? The chatter online is relentless. Twitter feeds are flooding with highlight reels, fan theories, and instant comparisons to previous Lakers legends. Some insiders suggest that Markkanen's ability to stretch the floor could open up LeBron James and Anthony Davis to dominate the paint even more, potentially creating one of the most dynamic duos in recent memory. Others, however, caution that chemistry is never guaranteed, and even the most talented additions sometimes take time to gel. One thing is certain: the Lakers have made a statement. In a league defined by superstars, Adding Markkanen sends a clear message to rivals that Los Angeles is not just thinking about the playoffs. They're planning to shake the foundations of the NBA hierarchy. Speculation about starting lineups, rotations, and potential trades is now reaching a fever pitch, and every analyst from coast to coast is trying to predict the impact of this blockbuster signing. Whether Markkanen becomes the missing piece of the Lakers championship puzzle or simply a dazzling highlight in a crowded roster, the buzz is undeniable. For now, fans can only watch, debate, and dream of what this new Lakers era might hold. One thing is for sure. The NBA offseason just became a lot more electrifying, and the world will be watching every step of Lauri Markkanen's Los Angeles journey. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.